Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive on something I think we can all relate to: phone addiction. You know, endless scrolling, losing track of time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be using Ali Abdaal's YouTube video called "Your Phone is Killing You: How to Stop Your Addiction" to guide us.
Sounds a little intense.
It is, but we're going beyond just telling you to put your phone down.
Okay.
We'll be unpacking the why
Sure.
behind this addiction, like what makes it so hard to resist.
Right.
We'll also look at the real cost of this addiction and then dive into some seriously effective strategies to break free.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So while we're chatting, maybe think about your own screen time habits. It might get a little personal.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fascinating how Abdal starts his video. He just throws out this statistic like, bam! The average person spends 6 hours and 40 minutes on screens every day.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really hit you until...
Well, you think about what that means over a lifetime.
Exactly. It's kind of like a punch in the gut.
It is. Over 50 years, that's 20 years gone just staring at screens.
20 years.
Think about that 20 years. What could you accomplish with that time? Travel the world.
Oh, easily.
Master a new skill. Anything. It's not even just about like wasting time. It's missing out on really living your life. And the scariest part,
What's that?
the tech companies know this, and they design their apps to hijack our brains.
He calls it brain hacking, right?
Yeah.
That sounds so intense, like
Yeah.
straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Well, think about it. It's not really fiction. Casinos, fast food chains, they all use these tactics to get us to buy more, eat more, gamble more. It's all about exploiting how our brains work. And tech companies are masters at this. Like, take Instagram.
Okay.
That infinite scroll, it just keeps you hooked. And those likes and notifications, they're timed perfectly to give you little dopamine rushes. It's what keeps you glued to the screen.
It's like those slot machines, you know, the ones that keep you pulling the lever, hoping for the next win.
Exactly. It's all designed that way.
So are we all just lab rats in a giant experiment?
You could say that, yeah. And what's so ironic is that our phones are supposed to be these tools for connection. That's how they're marketed, at least.
Right.
But often they lead to the opposite. Abdal actually has this term for it, nomophobia. It's the fear of being without your phone.
Oh, wow. Nomophobia. I've definitely felt that before. It's like that phantom vibration in your pocket. Or the urge to check your phone, even when you know there's nothing there.
Exactly.
It's like my phone has become this anxiety generator.
It really is, and there's actual science behind it. Some studies show that just hearing a notification but not being able to check it makes people more anxious. Like, their heart rates increase, they start sweating.
That's crazy, all because of a little buzzing sound.
Yeah.
Wow. So what about the impact on our minds long term? Like, does it get worse?
That's a great question. There's actually a growing body of research that links phone addiction to the rising rates of mental health issues, especially in Gen Z.
Oh, that's interesting. Abdal brings up the work of Jonathan Haidt, who suggests that the timing of smartphone adoption isn't a coincidence. Like, it lines up perfectly with increased anxiety and depression among young people.
Yeah, his book, The Cuddling of the American Mind, makes a really compelling case for that. Haidt points out how this sharp rise in mental health problems happens so suddenly, and there isn't really any other factor that explains it.
Interesting.
So, social media, that constant comparison, FOMO, fear of missing out, it all adds up.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've covered the problem pretty well,
We have.
and it's pretty bleak.
It is.
But Abdal doesn't just leave us hanging, does he? He has to offer some solutions, right?
Right. He doesn't just point out the problem and walk away. He gives some really practical tips on how to break free.
Okay, good.
Real strategies to take back control. Not just throwing your phone into the ocean.
I don't think I'm ready for a complete digital detox.
I get that. So where should we start?
Well, one of the things that really caught my attention was this idea of app blocking. Like, there are apps you can download that'll actually stop you from using certain apps at specific times.
So, like, if I know Instagram always sucks me in during the evenings, I could block it after dinner.
Exactly. Think of it like a digital bouncer for your phone. It keeps those temptations away.
I love that. It takes the willpower out of it. But what if I actually need to use my phone for something important during those blocked hours?
Don't worry, most of these apps let you set exceptions, for emergencies and things like that. It's not about becoming a tech hermit or anything. It's more about creating those healthy boundaries.
That makes sense.
Another thing Abdul talks about is using those focus modes on your phone.
Oh, yeah. I actually started using those recently, and it's made such a difference. My phone feels so much less chaotic. without all those constant notifications.
Right. It's amazing how distracting those little things can be. They just pull you away from whatever you're trying to focus on.
And, speaking of focus, Abdal also talks about this idea of delayed gratification.
Oh, interesting. You mean like instead of clicking on a notification immediately, you wait a few seconds before opening the app?
Exactly. It's like giving your brain a moment to catch up. And by consciously delaying that instant gratification, you're actually weakening that automatic response loop.
It's like you're training your brain to be more patient, which I definitely need. Uh-huh.
We all could use a little more of that these days. So, what else? What else was there? Oh, he also suggests batching your messages and setting aside dedicated time for offline activities.
Oh, that's something I struggle with. I feel like I'm constantly checking emails and messages throughout the day. It's hard to break free from that cycle.
It is, it's tough. But try designating specific times to check and respond to messages, like maybe once in the morning and once in the afternoon. It might feel a bit weird at first, but honestly, you get used to it pretty quickly.
Okay.
And it frees up so much mental space for other things.
Like what? Give me some inspiration.
Well, think about the things you enjoyed before your phone took over your life. Reading books, going for walks,
Right.
spending time with friends and family in person. Activities that energize you instead of drain you.
I used to love getting lost in a good book for hours.
There you go. It can be incredibly rewarding to rediscover those passions you might have forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to remembering that we have a choice. We don't have to be slaves to our devices.
Right. We can choose to use technology in ways that enrich our lives, not consume them.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming our time and our attention.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so we've talked about blocking apps, focus modes, delaying gratification, batching messages, and rediscovering those offline activities. That's a lot.
it is.
But are there any simple, quick tweaks we can make that can have a big impact?
Oh, absolutely. There are definitely some easy things you can do. Abdal actually mentioned this one, and it's so simple, but kind of brilliant. He doesn't keep any social media apps on his home screen.
Oh, interesting.
So if he wants to check them, he actually has to go and search for the app.
So it's like putting a little hurdle there.
Yeah. It creates just enough friction to break that, mindless habit of just tapping and scrolling. You have a second to pause and think, do I really need to check this right now?
Oh, that's a good idea. I was reading about an app that forces a 5-second delay before you can open those addictive apps.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's like that old saying, count to 10 before you react.
Exactly. It gives that more rational part of your brain a chance to catch up with your impulsive side.
Yeah, like giving yourself a little time out before you go down the rabbit hole.
I like that. And, this might sound a little silly, but don't underestimate the power of switching your phone to grayscale mode.
Grayscale.
Yeah. Those bright colors are designed to trigger those dopamine receptors, right?
Right.
So by taking away the color, you're also taking away some of the allure.
Like taking the candy coating off.
Exactly. It helps you see your phone more as a tool than this source of endless entertainment.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. I'm realizing how much I've been letting my phone control my attention.
I get it. It's a really common thing. But I think the more we learn about the psychology behind all these addictive technologies, the better equipped we are to actually make conscious choices about how we use them.
So true. Well, I think it's about time we wrap up our deep dive into breaking free from phone addiction.
Yeah, great conversation. But before we go, I want to leave you with this question. What's one small change you can make today to reclaim control over your digital life?
Okay, I like that.
It could be anything. Deleting an app, setting a screen time limit, or even just, charging your phone outside your bedroom. Every little step helps.
I love that challenge. And to everyone listening, we want to hear your thoughts. What strategies have helped you? Let's build a supportive community and help each other thrive in this digital age. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, be mindful, be present, and reclaim your time.